get started. If you could please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to the November 1st, 2018 Town of Riverhead Planning Board meeting. First item on the agenda tonight is a discussion item for Harbor Freight Tools.
I had spoken with both the applicant and the landlord. The applicant was in California and the landlord could not make it out. They were both okay with presenting the application. I informed them that I would just keep them abreast of what happened at the meeting, so. The planning department has received and reviewed a site plan application which proposes interior and exterior improvements to an existing shopping center. The shopping center is located at 1087 Old Country Road. It is presently improved with approximately 124,000 square feet of assorted retail and restaurant uses. Currently there's a Staples, Subway restaurant, a Japanese restaurant, Big Lots, etc. The modifications to the site consist of splitting an existing tenant space, which used to be Home Goods, to create a new 17,250 square foot leasable area, which will be occupied by Harbor Freight Tools. The remaining space that is created will be available for lease to a future, as of yet unidentified tenant. Staff has reviewed the short environmental assessment form and concluded SECRA on the action. It's considered an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA. Staff recommends that the planning board assume lead agency for the status of SECRA review, without the need for a coordinated review. Staff has prepared parts 2 and 3 of the EAF. Based on its review on the application, staff believes that the proposed action will not have an adverse impact on health, safety, or welfare of the surrounding area, and recommends that the planning board can issue a negative declaration. The subject parcel is surrounded by a variety of uses. The parcel's southern boundary is shared with Riverhead High School. There is vacant commercial land and other commercial uses to the west of the subject parcel. The eastern boundary of the subject parcel is shared with another commercial shopping center, and there are also some single-family residential houses along the eastern boundary of the property. During the site plan review process, the existing lighting on the site, both the pole-mounted parking lights as well as the building-mounted lights, were found to be not compliant with the town's exterior lighting code. The applicant has submitted a lighting plan which identifies all the site lighting to be replaced. The plan is proposing to bring all the lighting into compliance with the code. That will consist of lowering the heights of the existing pole mount fixtures in the parking lot to a height of 16 feet, and they will be replaced with 3,000 degree Kelvin LED fixtures. The building mounted lighting will be replaced with 3,000 degree Kelvin LED fixtures at a mounting height of 12 or 16 feet depending on the location. In no case will the height of the new fixtures exceed the allowable height as established by the town code. There is also a minimal amount of exterior work, which includes the construction of a new 120 square foot receiving pad behind the building in the southeast corner of the property. Construction of a new accessible concrete egress ramp behind the building in the southeast corner of the property. There will be a new accessible ramp at the main entrance to the building on its northern elevation, and a new accessible aisle and parking space striping. I've spoken with the applicant, and the applicant has clarified that the receiving pad in the back of the building will be used for small-scale deliveries to the store, you know, if there's a FedEx or UPS dropping off small packages. But the main loading dock on the northern elevation of the building will continue to be used for their larger deliveries when they get the 18-wheeler trucks coming in. Any new signage proposed will require approval from the ARB. The application did not require referral to the Suffolk County Planning Commission. In closing, staff recommends that the plans should be updated to clearly identify the total size of the existing space. Right now, the plans just show the size of the Harbor Freight area. A permanent certificate of occupancy for the Harbor Freight and whatever the new tenant is should be withheld until the site lighting is brought into compliance with the town code. Staff recommends that due to the minimal extent and nature of the exterior work, which does not result in an increase or floor area of the building, that the planning board can grant site plan approval and consider it a de minimis application.
Hey Greg, when you're out on the road, if you don't mind taking a ride over there, I know at some points that parking lot has been in kind of rough shape. I just wanna make sure, if we need improvements, now would be the time, so if you can check when you guys are out, appreciate it.
I I did actually do a site visit. They did seem to I think when Home Goods went out, they did resurface the parking lot and restripe it. So it is in much better condition than it was.
Greg, are they in agreement with all your comments?
Yes, I had sent them a copy of
Anything?
the report and they didn't really have any questions.
And what about the fire marshal? Do they have any oils or flammable liquids that may need to be regulated?
I had no comments from the fire marshal on it.
Okay.
Greg, I'd like to get a crossover on the west side. Now, there is one which is there, but people just drive it from the AT&T, they drive off the back.
Through the dirt
Yeah,
path.
and you can see that on your aerial, actually. Either, so they put it there or it's on the other side.
It is, but that's maybe, it's a good idea, it just may be difficult.
So not just the easement, you want physically constructed and paved? That, I'm just,
There's two different elevations there, we better take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the
it
board
seems
wishes,
like
we
it's
can
flat
look.
enough, but as you said, you gotta look at the grade.
I think it would be well worth it.
The southeast corner is getting a new ramp and residential aspect of the southeast also, is that,
Yes, sir.
what's the distances to what's happening?
I don't know the exact distance, but when I went there, there is a wall on that corner of the property, and there is some significant vegetation, so I don't think it's gonna create any sort of disturbances more than what's happening from a 124,000 square foot shopping center.
Okay, once again, if you are out, take another look at that, if
Yes,
it needs
sir.
to be noise, pavement or whatever, we'll have to take a look at it.
Alright.
Thank you.
I'll go out and I'll give the board an update prior to any approval resolutions.
So other than the code compliant upgrades that they agree to do, run by the cross access and let us know what they say. It's a great idea, but it may be difficult, cause they're one tenant in the whole shopping center, and then they would have to get agreement from next door too.
Yeah.
And if there's a little hesitation, it may be difficult.
We have to see if there's actually a cross-access agreement for that property. There may be one in place, in which case it might be
Okay,
relatively
well, we'll
easy.
look into it and let us know, but I don't have a problem, de minimis approval, because it's very similar use and very little is changing, if not anything.
Alright, I'll update the board on your questions and before any resolution is offered.
Thank you. Okay.
And the board's in agreement, no public hearing?
Yeah, I don't see the need for it.
Most of the people in the community are calling for reuse of these empty buildings, and I think it's the way to go.
This is a national firm. I see the plans come from a company in Ohio.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there was-
Harbor Freight's
Yeah.
all over.
And there's another one, up Island,
I believe there's one in
Center Reach.
Comac.
right,
Center Reach too.
yeah. That's where.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a public hearing for a minor subdivision of Calverton Manor LLC.
Do you have your, did you do, Henry's note? Yep, okay, we're good. Nope, nope.
This is a three-lot. It's Charles Cuddy, the applicant, and with me is Gary Schneider, who's one of the principals of the Calverton Manor LLC. These three lots are located at Manor Lane and, Manor Road and Route 25. They consist of a lot that's an RLC, which is right on the main road. It's 11 acres. There are two other lots that are farm lots, and both of those lots, which total over 23 acres, have development rights sold, and they're presently being farmed at this point. There is a further lot that Mr. Ehlers and I have discussed, which is behind the site and has been the subject of concern by the planners. And we've agreed that that further lot, which is tax map lot 20, would be either sold with the lots that are here, the farm lots, or would be sold to the farmers adjoining those lots. So there shouldn't be a problem with that. This is the lot that's behind the Long Island Lighting Authority property. It's not an easement, they actually own that property. And that's why they're separated. But basically, there are three lots, that you've seen this site for quite a while. As I say, two of them now are completely farmed. they're going to be because the development rights have been sold. The third lot is in the RLC district and may be developed ultimately, but there's not a specific plan for it right now.
So we had some questions, at the work session about the access to the northern lot. Has any progress been made on that?
That's the lot I was talking about as far
Right.
as the question of what's gonna happen to that lot. If it's ever sold, it has to be sold in conjunction with Lot 3, which is the large development rights lot here, or it has to be sold to an adjoining farmer. So that lot isn't gonna be separate.
Okay. So then,
I need 4 lots. So then you have 4 lots.
No, because this is a completely separate lot. It's not part of the subdivision.
And that's
It was-
on tax map?
It was part of the development rights sale, but it's not part of the subdivision because it's separated completely by the Long Island Lighting Authority lot, which is over 100 feet wide, and they own that lot. It's not an easement. Mr. Ayers agrees, it's true.
Is there a separate tax map for that lot?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
any other questions from the board?
No.
Anyone from the public wanna, please come up to the podium and just state your name for the record, please? Please come up to the podium and state your name.
My name is Walter Yakubowski. Can we see on the diagram exactly what you're talking about?
Yep, we'll have the map for you over on the table. Just watch out for the microphone. So you got the whole parcel, here's Route 25. Here's the Long Island Lighting Company parcel.
Right, we know that.
Three lot subdivision. You'll have a lot of 11 acres, 6.6 acres, 17.8.
But what was he talking about behind the lighting company?
This is 6.1 acres over here.
This portion here and this portion here, development rights are sold on that, so there's gonna be no, there can be no large scale development on it.
Right.
But the question was just how they get from here to here, and we didn't wanna create a landlocked parcel. But this parcel up here is not part of the subdivision. But it is part of the
This is 6.4, this is, okay, this is another property.
Yeah, so you're looking at this one right here, that's
Right.
lot one, this is
Lot
lot
two.
two, and that's lot three.
Lot 3, I know they already have a company called Lavender. Correct. Now, this one here,
Mr. Yakubowski, I'm gonna ask you to go up to the podium, and if you have any questions, so they get on the record,
okay,
and
sorry.
just kinda direct them to the board or Greg.
I'll answer questions if you got it.
Yes, my name is John Yakubowski, and I live basically about 100 yards away from this property. My question was basically, I know one of the lots, the rights were sold, the other one, I thought they weren't sold, the 6.6 acres.
The development rights were only sold on the 17.8 acres on the northern portion of the parcel, which is the lavender farm.
Okay,
Development rights are still intact on the southern 16.6 acres.
okay. My question would be also, the 17.8 acres that's listed on, for the public hearing, what is the issue with those acres? 'Cause that's already being farmed currently.
There is no, you mean with where the development rights are sold?
Yes,
There are no issues with it.
okay, okay, 'cause I just,
Development rights are sold, clear, that was done.
Okay, and what's going to be on lot number 2? What's
Right
going-
now, there's nothing being proposed.
proposed for lot? They're just splitting up the 3,
Correct.
but
They're
this was-
taking,
this-
they're
this was-
taking one lot and creating 3 lots.
Oh, this was already sold.
It's being farmed.
It's being farmed, leased, okay, I didn't know.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, we were under the understanding
It was
that the
sold.
17 acres and the 6.1 are already sold. Okay, they were still just being leased, okay, I'm
Being
sorry.
leased, okay.
One concern I would have, I know Lavender currently has a fence along the area, and there's 2 concerns I have. One is the flooding in the drainage area, which I'm not sure if this town board is concerned with that area or someone else, or other department. I've already called the police on different occasions, one within about 4 weeks ago, and they told me they were gonna contact the highway department, because it was so deep, the water, cars couldn't not get through. It's happened in the past,
On Manor?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
It was blocked.
yes, sir. They actually later on came and put like some kind of stanchions or something to show that, there was water there. Secondly, my concern would be many times, because I've lived there for only about 65 years. And the concern, actually almost 68. The concern I would have is with the snow that comes across, it comes across because my property there from Lavender and the property next to it, and builds up. Now that Lavender has fencing up, besides poles, it was almost like a snow fence. And when the snow would blow for miles down, I'm sure the fencing will stop the snow, but the snow will go on the road, which would create further havoc during, I know it's only a few months of the year they're concerned with that, but it would be a concern of mine also, because I do live, like I said, I live about 100 yards away. I used to have, 65 years ago, we had access, my father and I, my family, we had access to 25. And then, when they made the new extensions, they took our access away. So we actually go around, on Manor Road, so, and I'm not the only one basically who's affected by this. Other people in the developments would also be affected by the snow, by the water.
No, are they affected by the operation of the Lavender Farm, or
No,
is it
no,
the
no.
because
No,
we're
he
here
put a-
considering the subdivision application.
He put up a fence here.
So, the subject of the hearing tonight is only to
Subdivide it.
subdivide it. But, I mean, I did note your concerns, and we could check with the highway department.
Because they have come out and put, things to just notify the public that the deep water is there. And I know they have come over, or they have to, when snow comes across the fields, and I'm sure even on Sound Avenue, so many times you've seen it in Riverhead's camp, when the snow blows, it covers the roads big time. And my concern would be, not that they can't put up fencing over there for the projects, because they should protect it, but at the same time too, it could create an issue where the snow actually goes more depth on the road.
Could you show Greg on the map where that flooding occurred? Approximately.
Around here.
There's an indent, there's an indent, basically, Mr. Lavender, right, there's an indent over here.
Okay, you can just circle it, we'll take a look at it.
I would probably have to come out here and they put, I guess some kind of red and white barriers or something showing, not to block the pylons, not to stop the traffic, but that, that's a warning. Okay, so this one is still, okay.
Greg, could you relate to us then where it is?
You identified this area right here, kind of right around there, right at the beginning of that bend.
That was brought up last time, about the possibility of, there's no drainage shown.
Okay, anyone else from the public want to address the board on this, public hearing? Anyone else? Okay,
Make a motion to close the, public hearing of the minor subdivision of Calverton Manor LLC, so moved.
second. The motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Calverton Manor, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is closed. Okay, we don't have any resolutions tonight, so is there anyone from the public that wants to address the board on any matter in front of the planning board? Anyone from the public on any subject?
Good evening, Christopher Kent. I'm here on behalf of S Power. I'm here to just kind of set the record straight from our perspective on a resolution that was adopted by the planning board at its meeting on October 4th. Resolution number 2018-077. It was a resolution that was directing the preparation of a supplemental environmental impact statement for the solar project on the 20 megawatt solar project on 110 acres west of Peconic Avenue. We believe that from our perspective, the issue is, the town board's resolution was based upon incorrect information. I'm not saying that it was information that was provided to you or that you learned of, and we're not sure exactly how you received that information, but that any subsequent projects would be violating the site plan resolution that was approved by the by the planning board for the 20 megawatt project, that there would be only one facility through the GenTie that was proposed and through the easement under Edwards Avenue. That was a condition of the site plan approval for this project. It was included within the covenant that was recorded against the property and in support of the site plan. And the applicant, the developer of this project, has the intent to conform to that condition and to that covenant. There will be only one facility that will be connected to that GenTie under and through that easement under Edwards Avenue. So we wanted to clear up that incorrect information upon which we think the board based some of its thinking on the adoption of that resolution on October 4th. And we want to hopefully resolve the misunderstanding that we have other projects that are being proposed to go through that GenTie and to go within that easement under Edwards Avenue. So we wanted to clear that up and make the board feel certain that we have every intention of abiding by the condition placed upon the site plan approval from this board that was granted in August of 2018, and abide by the terms of the covenant that was recorded in support of that site plan approval. So I wanted to put that on the record. We would ask that the board consider rescinding this resolution, that we believe that any information that you're looking for us to provide in the supplemental, in the request for supplemental EIS was included within the EIS that was presented, reviewed, accepted as complete, and within the finding statements adopted by this board in October of 2017. We believe the cumulative impacts that you're asking for us to analyze at this point were analyzed in that original EIS, and that we'd ask that you consider rescinding the resolution adopted by the board, rescinding resolution 2018-077 that was adopted by the board on October 4th.
Evening. My name is Ryan Galeria. I'm the Director of Solar Development for S-Power. Appreciate you taking the time. If you like, I'd like to just distribute some maps further clarifying the issue with the two GenTies, if that's okay. I think in all fairness to the board, there's been quite a bit of confusion around how the power would be transmitted from the Riverhead 1 facility that was approved and the proposed Riverhead 2 facility, with specifically the connections beneath Edwards Avenue. So we created this map just to illustrate that there will be two distinct facilities. In yellow, in the inset, in yellow we have the easement that's proposed and with the town now for the Riverhead 1 facility, a separate electrically independent easement for the Riverhead 2 facility, and no commingling of those electrical facilities whatsoever. So I think that certainly S-Power could have provided this information in a more easily digestible manner earlier. I can understand the confusion, and I appreciate you considering these items, and happy to answer any questions about our proposed facilities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the public want to address the board on any matter? Just come up to the podium, please.
Again, John Yakubowski. As I mentioned earlier, I live about 100 yards away from the property. I What I notice every day, right during summertime, on a few occasions, Splish Splash, because it's right down the street from me. And it used to be, what happens is the traffic is jammed up all the way up the hill. I'm not sure what jurisdiction you have over that or not, but I notice sometimes right up to the bridge that comes down, it's jammed up. And I know they may need to do something, especially if Lavender is popular, I'm sure, as it will be. They may need to expand the size of the road over there. Secondly, what happens is, when you come down the bridge, from Riverhead, as you're coming down by Tanger, the roads connect. It's very easy, I don't think it's happened yet, but it's very easy from the two lanes from this side here to have an accident. I don't think it's exactly as safe as it should be, because I travel that way every day when I come back from work. That's one issue I have. Secondly, by Stop and Shop, when trucks come in, this is large trucks, they come in, try to make a right turn towards Stop and Shop on Mill Road. A lot of cars either have to back up, or they can't make the turn, they have to just sit there and wait till it's free for them to turn. If they could expand a certain section of that, where the trucks would have more easy access to turn.
That's really a county issue.
Okay.
When they redid 58, they left no shoulder, and it comes up on
Correct.
many of our applications, and it's pretty much out of our hands, and I couldn't agree with you more. They did a very poor job when they reconstructed that road. They took a shortcut and didn't put proper shoulders in.
Great, thank you. Yes,
And where you were talking about where the roads come together, that's a county road and a state road coming together.
oh,
You
the
can
25 and
imagine the red
58,
tape
okay,
there.
yes, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Because years ago, when I was back 65 years ago, when I was young, I remember Toomey Avenue and Middle Road, basically they went straight down to 25. I think one of them had a traffic light, I'm sure you may remember, there used to be a diner over there. Hackle's gas station was over there, because my father used to go to see Mr. Hackle over there when he was young.
Two-lane road.
And, the third one would be, fourth one, again, besides Splish Splash, by Edwards Avenue. Again, when people are heading north on Edwards Avenue and wanna make a left-hand turn, if they're blocked by the traffic coming straight, going south on Edwards Avenue, cars behind them are unable to make a right-hand turn. If they would have maybe a turning lane, again, I'm not sure whose jurisdiction.
Well, that's another one that we agree with you on, and we've written letters to the state, and we've met with the state.
Okay.
And I know the town has been discussing some development in that area with the state, and we're just waiting to hear back from them, but
Your hands are tied.
completely agree with you. And we are doing what we,
You can. I know you're,
anything in our power.
I'm sure you're limited to something. Thank you very much, sir.
Yep, you're welcome, thank you. Okay, if there isn't anyone else from the public, the board is gonna go into executive session, at this time for, yes, excuse me?
You have minutes?
We could open it when we come back.
We'll do it when we come back.
We'll do it when we come back. We're gonna go in executive session for, legal advice from our counsel. So,
Motion to go into executive session, so
Second.
moved?
okay, motion made and seconded to go in executive session, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Chris,
Have a good night, guys.
Make sure that she's off, please.
Standing up, Mr.